Yes, I think that's us. That's us live again. Hi, hello, Dorothy. Welcome again.
Hi,
Um,
Andrea.
and welcome to those of you who are joining us today or will be joining us soon enough. We are here again with Dorothy. Some of you have seen her before because Dorothy has been helping us with this Wellbeing Corner, which she's been doing. We've done a while ago and we picked up on it again. And obviously, Dorothy is one of the best people to be here because she's an expert in well-being. She's a psychologist, she's a speaker, she's a coach. She does a lot of things with this. And I think personally, we need to have people that have her expertise talking to us as vets for this. So, Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us again. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
I hope you're
Thank you so
excited to be
much.
with us.
I am very excited to be here. I'm so glad that we are starting again those well-being corners because I love them. I think it's such a lovely format and I've missed them. So I'm just
Uh,
like, yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, really
yeah.
excited.
Yeah,
Really
and the
excited.
plan is for us to keep doing this, not every week, because it's difficult to be able to
Yeah.
do it this every week in a regular time. But a few times we'll be doing that, and we'll be announcing to everyone when this is going to take place in case you want to join us live. Because one of the good
Yeah.
things about the lives is that you can come over and you can bring your questions to someone that knows how to answer them with
Yeah.
actual practical advice for it. So we encourage you, if you are watching this and you have questions about well-being, anxiety, stress, what to do with certain situations, then please bring them over. But
Yeah.
today I have a much bigger challenge because I thought one of the things that we should always discuss and we should start with, instead of going straight for the actual content and all of these, amazing things and tips, uh, I think we really need to focus on going back one level and seeing the bigger picture. And I thought that we need to see what are the most common myths and issues and problems that people believe about mental health and mental well-being. So that's actually a very difficult question that I have for you, Dorothy, to start with today, because I would like to hear your opinion on this from your experience, people that you've spoken with and that you've worked with. What
Mhm.
are some of the beliefs, some of the myths that they are attached to about their own well-being that are,
Mhm.
stopping them from being better and feeling better about themselves and having a better well-being?
Yeah. Yeah. Andrea, I love that. I love that question
It's a
because
difficult one,
I
eh?
think, yeah, it is difficult because the whole area of well-being, we use that word so very often, but actually the deeper understanding of what it really means is not very well, not explored very often, so people can really start to understand what actually it is. So I love that question, and I love it also because I see so many myths and so many misconceptions about it. So I have, as you are asking me this question, I have, I think, three or four things that are immediately kind of coming up for me that I would like to take time and probably explore a little bit. And would that be good?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
ears right now.
yeah. So the first thing is about what is well-being, um, and the second one is about what we believe we need to have to experience more well-being. The third one is about believing that we have to achieve our well-being.
Mhm.
So these are kind of really, really three that I want to deep dive in all of them and explore a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the first one is just starting with the very simple definition. So when we look up the dictionaries and reference books to see what is well-being, we discover that well-being is often defined as a literally state of being content, healthy, and happy.
Okay.
So very often people associate well-being with a very narrow experience. experience of contentment, happiness, being okay and healthy. Anything out of it is considered, this is not well-being. And when we understand well-being in that way, well-being becomes very narrow because it excludes a lot of different experiences that we have each and every day, those ups and downs. It becomes very narrow and becomes very restrictive. And we are trying to kind of squeeze ourselves into this narrower way of experiencing our day-to-day in life.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the true well-being is much more open. It's a much more natural state, is a dynamic state of being. So it's not static and restricted to just few good, positive emotions, but it's actually a natural, flowing, dynamic state of being that incorporates all sorts of different emotions. We categorize emotions as a negative and positive, but actually when we start to understand more about what are the emotions and how we, generate psychologically our emotional experience, we realize that they are actually equal, and well-being incorporates all of them without any exclusion. And the okayness and kind of a contentment actually not comes from trying to squeeze ourselves and only feel kind of okay and happy and contented. The deeper contentment and okayness comes with our understanding. What happens psychologically to us when we go a little bit down, when we wake up in the morning and think like, oh no, I don't really want to go to work. Yeah. Or, when we have a difficult client and we leave the consultation and we feel really frustrated or even angry, or when we had a really difficult day because there's some of our patients, didn't recover as quickly as we would like to. So all those emotions are natural, and the okayness, the contentment, comes with understanding of what is going on for us psychologically. So
almost like accepting it.
Yes. And the more we understand that psychological functioning of our human psychological functioning, the more the byproduct of it is actually acceptance and actually being able to experience of those emotions, being able to be with these emotions in a much more open and relaxed and understanding, accepting way. This is true well-being. So
yes,
yeah, it's a very different way of understanding.
Yep.
Yeah. Another thing. So if you have any questions, Andrea, just ask. I'm aware of the time, so I'll just.
Yes, I was going to say, since you mentioned three things, I thought let's try and see if we can cover all of those three things. And because this one I think is very important for sure, this notion of well-being. Again, it's one of these things everyone talks about, and sometimes you don't know what it means. But then you mentioned there's two other things that are related to this that are also very important, and I think it's very good for people to hear that as well.
Yes, exactly. So this was the first one, that inclusive state of being that is dynamic, that is inclusive of all the experiencing, that is dynamic and moving and flowing. Another part that I see people get stuck if it comes to their own well-being is when we believe that our well-being is dependent on certain circumstances. And we think that we need to create certain circumstances to have better well-being.
Yeah. Yes.
And I see it everywhere. I see it in workplaces. It's like we need to, and it is something good. We need to create better culture. I agree with it. We need to create better environment. I agree with it. However, on the individual level, for us individuals, when we associate well-being with certain conditions, certain circumstances, this is actually not very helpful at all, because we are constantly waiting for something else to change to have
Yeah.
better well-being.
Yeah.
And actually, the true well-being does not depend on what we have, on our circumstances. It's like the word well-being is about being. It's
Yeah.
something more fundamental. And it's always is like, we know when people say, once I have that, once I get promoted to that level, I won't be managed by that person, I will have more well-being. Once I make more money, I will have better. Once I have opportunity to go on 3
Hmm.
holidays per year, or I will have more well-being. This takes us away from well-being.
Yeah.
Actually, we can bring our well-being into any situations, and understanding that that well-being is independent is in itself very helpful for
Hmm.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Yes. I think this
And that
happens
is the
also with
biggie.
the, yeah, this happens a lot with other things in life as well, where people like prevent themselves from achieving what they want to achieve by thinking that when that happens, then I will X. And I think with well-being, it's very important.
Yeah.
It is like that. It's like when I leave this job, or when this person goes away, or,
Yeah.
and it's not like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like that. And yes, very often this is used as well as like, I'll do that when will be some kind of
Yeah.
circumstance. And
I
in the
feel
well-being
sometimes,
conversation, go on.
I was gonna say, I feel sometimes it's even worse for your own well-being, because if you keep thinking about it, you start to notice more that you're not well, because it's not, that is not happening. So I personally think that's worse for you, because you keep thinking of, it's like you keep thinking of the things that you don't yet have achieved for that goal that you think is, I'm going to be better and happier, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that, when you look at the present, like with that perspective, that makes you feel worse.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when I work with people, it is very evident that all the effort is often used to create better circumstances. And while they've created that better circumstances for themselves, what is really evident is that they go through the same emotions. So they kind of overall well-being picks up for a short time, because they're like, oh, I've achieved it, this is really good. And then we revert to our natural functioning.
Yeah.
And often we see, coming back of all sorts of different feelings and experiences. So the true well-being is actually, again, is about understanding how we experience life, how we experience circumstances, because what is happening out there, the circumstances don't trigger feelings in
Yeah.
us. It happens differently, and that knowledge is so helpful. And that knowledge really helps us to understand that it's well-being is not dependent, is actually independent, and we can find that sweet spot of well-being within each circumstance. And we can then navigate from that place. So this is really, really important.
Yeah, I think this also links with the last thing that you were talking about, which is, I believe you're saying that one of the other things that you notice is that people feel that they need to achieve well-being.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have been on the journey trying all my life to achieve better well-being. And the thinking is, I need to, as I said, create better circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is, I need to practice, I need to do certain things to be able to have better well-being, to achieve my well-being. So that well-being is always something in the future, always something that we are striving for.
Yeah.
And wherever we are, when we are on this journey, we realize that when we get to that point, then I need to do something more.
There is always something more.
there is always something more, and that if we are on that journey, that true well-being is never really realized,
Mm-hmm.
because the true well-being is not something that we have to achieve. It's something that we actually have to discover.
Ah,
Is about discovering our depth, is about discovering this, that the well-being is innate, is in a way capacity that we all have been born with. We have that capacity within us, each and every person. We obviously, we forget it. This is not something that is very often brought in a general conversation about well-being,
yeah,
but it is very important. So instead of thinking, I will have my better well-being when I achieve this, when I do this and this, we have to ask ourselves the different question. Is a question of, I need to discover something within myself. I need to discover my depth. True sustainable well-being is about diving deeper within ourselves and discovering something that is within us, that kind of essence, that foundation. And once we have that, then our lives kind of overflow with more well-being, because we've connected with that essence within us, with that foundation, and we can bring that foundation to even very difficult circumstances and again navigate from that place. We are much more stable within, with kind of grounded in that self-understanding of self-knowledge.
mm-hmm.
And we are not, in a way, pushed over by difficult circumstances, challenging clients, things that don't go our way. We don't suffer all these blows so heavily,
Yeah,
because we establish ourselves a little bit more in a more kind of grounded,
mm-hmm.
balanced inner kind of inner our inner core is well-being, and really self-discovery is about exercising that core muscle and being in touch with it, and knowing that it's there all the time.
Yeah.
So yes, this is really true well-being. This
That's
is
I love this. I think I'm gonna make this a quote, which is well-being is not achieved, it's discovered. I think it's like one of
yeah,
those beautiful things that you should like read in the morning when you get up,
yeah,
and just realize that this is something that is not dependent on other people, and it's just basically it depends on you spending time with yourself almost, learning
yeah,
about yourself, and I think that's really
yeah.
powerful because then it means that it's under your own control,
It
which
is,
is
it
which is
is.
then one of the things that I think a lot of people get distressed about, especially working in veterinary medicine, where there's a lot of things that are not under our control, and even though we try, sometimes it doesn't go our way. um,
Of course.
to to
Hmm.
to have that ability of feeling like something is under our control, I think is really really
Hmm.
powerful. So
Yeah,
this has
yeah,
been really really good, and I really really love this part, Dorothy, so thank you so much for
yeah,
sharing this with us. um,
yeah.
Now,
Pleasure.
so because we don't want to keep this too long, we're gonna say goodbye to people today here. But I wanted to, for those of you who are watching, and who are maybe watching the recording and the review, this again. Dorothy's going to be back. If you guys have any questions, or if there's any topic that you think would be interesting for us to talk about,
Hmm.
please
Hmm.
leave it in the comments below for us. You can also find Dorothy on her own website. Let's see if I get it right, dorothymartin.co.uk.
Yep, yep.
And then keep an eye out on our Facebook as well, because Dorothy is building a few things on well-being for us that you can get access to as well. And
Yeah.
maybe we can talk a little bit more about that next time as well, because we've got another webinar lined up for
Hmm.
everyone to join, and we have a few more things on the making. Um, but in the meantime, like I said, if you all have ideas of topics, things that you'd like us to discuss, or questions that you have, please put them in the comments. Dorothy's around, I'm around. Dorothy knows the answers, I'm just calling her. um, and we're happy to continue to do this and help people with a little bit of extra, little bite size of pieces of information that are going to be useful for everyone. Dorothy,
Absolutely.
anything else that you want to tell us?
I think that's it. I love the quote. That's it. I love the quote, so I'll be posting it as well.
Yeah.
There is so much to learn, and we can literally pause and learn. It is in our control to learn, and that knowledge can be so helpful. And it's in a way, it is already that piece of well-being that you are looking for is already there within you,
Yes.
literally waiting to be discovered, and it will make things easier for you. So please connect, as Andrea is saying, please connect with us, share your thoughts, questions, anything, and I'm looking forward already to meeting you next month.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. We're looking forward to meet you as well. And again, thank you everyone who has joined us today, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Dorothy.
Bye.